Welcome back to So You Really Want to Learn Latin, and once again I have my guinea pig daughter MEO.
Glamorous assistant, I
Glamorous assistant. And today we're going to be talking about third declension nouns. Now, I love third declension nouns, but not everyone does. Nouns that end in A go like mensa, nouns that end in us go like annus, and nouns that end in go like bellum. And we've had our adjectives like bonus, which follow those cases, and everything has been hunky and dory and very, very simple, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. It's now about to get just a little bit harder, because we're going to meet the third declension. Now, there are various types of third declension noun, but for the purposes of this first lesson, we're going to look at nouns that can be masculine or feminine, and they go like rex, which means a king, and there are neuter nouns, which go like opus, which means work. Okay? Now we'll start with rex, and it takes a bit of time to get the hang of it, because first you're going to have to learn a new set of endings, and then you're going to have to learn something rather peculiar that goes on with its stem. Okay? So, stand by your bets. Right, so first we're going to look at rex, and it goes as follows. Rex, rex, regem, regis, regi, rege, reges, 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 regum, regibus, regibus. Okay? Now, the first obvious thing to notice about rex, I think the most obvious, is that in the plural, you can't tell the difference between the nominative, vocative and accusative plural. It goes reges, reges, reges. Now, we've already learnt that that sort of situation occurs. When do you remember that happening already?
Bella, 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 bella.
Yeah, so neuter nouns, they do it in the plural, they also do it in the singular.
Yeah, bellum, bellum, bellum.
Quite. So, we're used to dealing with nouns where there is no distinction between the nominative, vocative and accusative. And we've learnt to cope with it, so we'll learn to cope with these little chaps. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing, however, which is slightly more extreme than that, is that in the nominative singular of a third declension noun, there is no ending. It sounds a bit strange, but it's true. The word itself, like rex, doesn't have an ending in the nominative singular. It just is that word. It's rex. And in the vocative singular, it's always exactly the same as the nominative. So it goes rex, rex. And then something happens. Okay? Now, two things happen with masculine and feminine nouns like rex. Firstly, they grab their stem, their noun stem, and in the case of rex, it's reg with a G. And then they add the accusative singular ending, which is m.
Rex, rex, regem.
Okay, so rex, R-E-X, has changed to reg with a G, and then it's added the ending m, and then it adds those endings all the way down. M, is, e, ace, 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 ibus, ibus. Okay? Now you might say to yourself, well, where did that G come from in this stem you keep talking about? See, rex goes reg. What's all that? Well, I'll give you another noun, and you'll see that you really need to learn the trick I'm about to teach you. So the Latin for soldier is miles.
Miles.
Okay? We get the word military. Okay? Miles means a soldier. It goes like rex. Have a crack at it then.
Miles, miles, milem.
You see, that's not right, but it's entirely understandable that you're struggling. The reason she's struggling is she doesn't know the stem of the word miles, okay, which is Milit.
Milit.
Right. So it goes miles, miles, militem. Keep going.
Miletis.
Militis. It's milit.
Milet, yes. So miles, miles, militem, militis, militi,
Yeah.
milite,
Yeah.
milites, 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 militum, militibus, militibus.
Right. So, where did you get that stem from? Well, I
You
told
told
her.
me.
But let's say I hadn't. Right. When you learn a third declension noun, you now really, really have to learn the nominative singular, which is the word itself, miles. You then have to learn the genitive singular. So when you learn miles, it's miles, militis, masculine, a soldier.
Okay. Miles, militis. Masculine, a soldier.
Right.
Rex, regis.
Very good.
Masculine, a king.
Excellent. So you have to learn its nominative, its genitive singular, its gender and its meaning.
Yes.
Because without those pieces of information, you can't actually make the thing work. We'll have another crack. Dux. Now, dux means a leader. And if I was to say, how does that go? You should be asking for some information.
What's the genitive singular, please?
Very nice. So dux goes ducis.
Ah.
D-U-C-I-S.
Dux, dux, ducem, ducis, duci, duce, duces, 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 ducum, ducibus, ducibus.
Very nice. So, to get the stem of a third declension noun, you go to the genitive singular and you chop off is. And everything you're left with before the is is the stem.
Duc.
Duc. Okay, the Latin for a consul. So Rome was governed in the Republic by 2 consuls. They held office for 1 year. And the Latin for consul is consul. Nice long O. Consul.
Consul.
Consulis. Masculine. A consul. So how would they go?
So that just adds the is onto what it already was.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So consul, consul,
Yeah.
consulem,
Yeah.
consulis, consuli, consule, consulis, consules, consules, consulum, consulibus, consulibus.
Very nice. Okay, so you got the hang of this. You grab the noun, you look it up in the vocabulary in a book like this, or someone's kind and they give it to you. You get the nominative singular, because that's what it means. You get the genitive singular, because that's where you get the stem onto which we add these endings. You get the gender, because you want to know what gender it is, particularly when we make adjectives agree. And you need the meaning, obviously, because you need the meaning. Okay. Now, masculine nouns, feminine nouns, and common nouns. Now, do you remember what common means?
It could be masculine or feminine.
Very good. So masculine, feminine, and common third declension nouns go like rakes. Okay. Neuter nouns, however, don't.
Who's hold? I just yawned through your explanation.
Was she yawning through my explanation? Heavens. Right. Masculine. We're having to refilm this because she yawned through my explanation. Masculine, feminine, and common third declension nouns go like rakes. Okay. Neuter nouns, however, do not. Now, neuter nouns go like opus. Now, just as when we learnt bellum as a neuter second declension noun, we learnt it went blum blum blum, blah blah blah. Okay, it repeats its nominative, vocative, and accusative. Well, opus is exactly the same. So, opus, operis, neuter, work. Okay.
Yeah.
Goes opus, 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 operis, operi, opere, opera, 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 operum, operibus, operibus.
Okay.
Okay. So in other words, in the nominative, vocative and accusative singular, there is no ending.
Mm-hmm. Opus, opus, opus.
Yeah. Then you get to the genitive singular, and that's where you find the stem. Everything apart from the is.
Opero.
Yeah. And then you add the genitive singular ending, which is is.
Mm-hmm.
I go operis. And then the rest of the endings, the genitive, dative and ablative, are exactly the same as for rigs.
Mm-hmm.
Operis, operi, opera. In the plural, and this is a nice little trick, neuter nouns of whatever declension in the nominative, vocative and accusative plural always end in the letter A.
Mm-hmm.
So like bella, 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 we've got opera, opera, opera. And then the genitive plural and the dative plural and the ablative plural are exactly the same as rigs.
Ibus, ibus.
Very good indeed.
Operum, operibus, operibus.
Exactly. So, for example, the Latin for a river is flumen.
Flumen.
Now, how does flumen go?
Well, can you tell me the genitive singular, please?
Very nice. So the genitive singular of flumen is fluminis.
Fluminis.
And it's neuter.
Okay.
So when you see flumen, fluminis, neuter, you know, it doesn't go like rakes.
Mm-hmm.
It goes like...
Opus.
Goes like opus.
Flumen, flumen, fluminit. No, I apologise. Flumen, flumen, flumen.
Yes.
Fluminis, flumini,
Yeah.
fluminit.
Very good.
Flumina, flumina, flumina. Fluminum, fluminibus, fluminibus.
Very, very good indeed. Yeah. Tremendous. So that's what neuter nouns do.
Okay.
Okay. In the third declension, if they're masculine, feminine, or common, they go like rakes, and if they're neuter, they go like opus. But whereas with our first and second declension nouns, we've probably been a little bit lazy about learning the genitive singular, because we think, well, if it goes like mean, so we know it's going to go I at the end, and that you just add instead of the A, so I mean, it's easy. And if it's second declension, you know, annus, anni, you're not really doing much work to learn the genitive singular. In the third declension, if you don't learn the genitive singular, you won't know the stem.
Yeah.
And that's a disaster. So, here's fun. Judex. Now, judex means a judge. Right? How does that go?
What's the genitive singular?
Exactly. You need to know the genitive singular. You also need to know the gender.
Yeah.
Because either it's going like rakes or it's going like opus. Okay. Now, judex goes, and I don't know why we always laughed. Judex goes judicis.
I know why you always laugh.
Okay. So, so that will go.
And was it masculine
And it was,
or
well, funnily enough, judex is common. You'll be
common? Okay.
pleased
Thank
with
you.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
anyone can be a judge.
Exactly right. So, how does that go?
Okay, it goes judex, judex, judicum.
Yeah.
Judicis, judici, judice.
Yeah.
Judicase, judicase, judicase.
Yeah.
Judicum, judicibus, judicibus.
Absolutely right. Okay, now, some weeks ago, I don't know if you remember my guinea pig here, saying that the agreement of adjectives with nouns was laughably easy because they always rhymed.
It's going to come back and bite me.
It might come back and bite her. If you remember, I pointed out that that was not the case because we had things like nauta bonus, meaning a good sailor.
Yeah.
Well, in the third declension, an adjective almost never rhymes with its noun. Okay, so let's just have a little look at that. If you wanted to say, for example, of the good king, of the good king in Latin would be...
Okay. Regis.
Okay, so we do of the king first.
Boni.
Good. Regis boni. Not a lot of rhyming going on there.
No, not much.
Okay. What about if we did for the tired judge.
Yikes. You told me what tired was. Tired was festus.
Very good.
Judge is Udex.
Yeah.
So for the tired judge.
What case are we in there?
We're in the dative.
Yeah.
So Udex, Udex, Udicem.
Yeah.
Eudicis, Eudici.
Okay.
That's what we want to be. Eudici.
Yeah.
And then we want to go fessus, fesse, fessum, fessi, fesso.
Yeah.
Eudici, fesso.
Very good.
Yeah, not much rhyming there either.
All right. So you can see that the rule I hope I managed to teach you when we first came across adjectives, that an adjective agrees with its noun in gender, case and number, and that it will sometimes, but not always, rhyme.
Yeah.
Now that we're using third declension nouns, that's really important because it almost never rhymes. Just a little test of her brain power. When might it rhyme?
Okay. It might rhyme if it was, for example,
Yeah.
a neuter plural nominative, vocative or accusative noun.
Very good indeed.
They'd both end in a.
They would indeed. So the Latin for the long songs
That rhymes in English too.
rhymes in English, I know. So the long songs, long is longus.
Okay.
A song, do you remember that?
No.
Carmen,
Carmen.
Carminis.
Okay.
She's looking at her watch, you can tell she's enthralled.
I just ripped my top, that's all.
The long songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Carmen, Carmenis.
Yeah.
So we're going straight to the plural nominative.
Yeah, we are.
Carmena.
Yeah.
Longer.
Very nice. Okay. So, that's the third declension for you. A lot of people make a fuss about it. It's not that hard. We've got a new set of endings. Rex, rex, regem, regis, regi, rege. Regis, 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 regum, regibus, regibus. And the neuter equivalent to that, opus, 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 operis, operi, opera. Opera, 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 operum, operibus, operibus. That's quite hard to say. But a new discipline, which is when you learn a third declension noun, you must always learn
The genitive singular and the gender.
very good, without which you simply can't make them work.
Okay.
Okay, hope that made sense. Do some practice. Practice makes perfect. There are exercises in the book. If you haven't yet got the book, perhaps you should. And vocabulary is at the back, so you can look up these words if you get stuck. If you have any problems, drop me a little message in the comments below, and we hope to see you next time.